Hi everyone, I'm Melly. I'm going to be running a series of little videos and posts on how to calm your farm. So basically it'll just be my learnings and some things that I've experienced, some stories and so forth. And I'm here to share them with you. I believe that I'm here to connect with people and to share through my vulnerability. And so yeah, here's a start. Here's my first video. So today I'd like to talk to you about spirit and life. So spirit being your intrinsic you. We all have personality types that are similar. I'm a 1% personality type, and I'm an advocate, which is the rarest of the personality types. And within that, we have elements that are similar. But in psychology, there is still, I think it's 17% that no one has any idea about why we are intrinsically us. There's still 17% that we can't say, oh, well, this is why people do this. This is why this happens. So the field of psychology, as good as it is, modern psychology, it still can't identify why we do particular things. So many people have spoken about this over the years. I guess, since the dawn of man, we've all had some kind of understanding of spirit and life. Plato spoke about this, how many years ago? 2,448 years ago. So he spoke about it as a defining set idealisms. So set ideals and programming, basically, is what he was talking about, Plato did. And then in 1921, Carl Jung came up with archetypes. And incidentally, same year that Betty Crocker invented the cake mix. So that's been around a long time too. So Carl Jung's work, he did a lot of work on archetypes, which is really cool to look into if you ever want to look into it, and more people have done more work in that field since. But what I want to talk to you about today is life cycles, so spirit and life. So Carl Jung has written so many things. I just want to read you a piece from one of his writings of spirit and life. For how can we bring within the orbit of our thoughts those limitless complexes of facts which we call spirit or life, unless we clothe them in verbal concepts? So how do we define those in verbal concepts? So one thing that Carl Jung looked at was life cycles, the 4 stages of life cycles. So the first of this is athlete. Now, we normally start developing our proper personality when we're teenagers. So yes, we have things instilled in us that we learn as we grow, but then we have those, they're called behavioural profiles. So they're things that were learned. And then we also have the personality profile, which is just naturally within us from birth, a set of programs like Plato suggested, for example. So when we reach teenage years, we start pushing away what we've learnt in those behavioural things and start acting out more from our personality profiling. The problem here is we rebel a bit and we go a bit too hardcore because we're still working out those parts of our brain. We still haven't developed the prefrontal cortex properly. And so we have the different sections of our brain that our personality acts out from. So in teenage years, we push that a bit too much. And this is where Carl Jung identified a personality that comes out in the life stage called the athlete. Now, the athlete life stage, so spirit and life, we're still talking about today, is about doing things for yourself. So teenagers can be considered very selfish and not thinking about others and how their consequences have the actions have consequences. So the athlete is very much self-centered. So it's about who am I and what can I gain from life. It's all about them. And it very much is a huge thing to do with spirit and life. They're trying to identify who their spirit is and what they want from life. And this is where they'll experiment a lot to find that out. So it's very ego-driven, and a lot of people can stay stuck in this cycle and not naturally evolve to the next one. So people that are very selfish and self-centered and very self-driven and focused can mostly stay in this until the day they die. However, in the natural cycle of life, as you're processing those things and finding more meaning from your life in what you like to do and who you are, you will naturally move into the state of the warrior. So this is the other archetype in spirit and life, in the life cycle stages that Carl Jung came up with. So the warrior is still very self-centered. However, it's more about the why are they self-centered. So the warrior will fight for things that they want, their goals and their dreams, but it's more about why they want that. It's more than just self. So part of the identity will fight tooth and nail to keep that identity going. So warrior is a really good one to sit with. And a lot of people can stay in this cycle forever as well, quite naturally, because it's not just about them. It's still very ego-driven, but it naturally can lead into more meaningful cycle, which is the statesperson. Originally called the statesman because, men. There's my little feminist rant for the day. But I'm glad that I can call that statesperson. And sorry, my feminist brain went off somewhere else then. So statesperson is more about meaning. It changes. It's a huge shift in ego when you reach the statesperson stage, because it's not just about you anymore in the ego-driven. It's about what can I leave behind. It's about what can I create. How can I shape this world for the better for the next generation? What can I leave behind? What is my legacy that I can give to others that will help them create their own legacy? And we can find that shift in different ways. Like I said, a lot of people can stay stuck in athlete and warrior and they can never reach this stage. And, there's a lot to be said for people on their deathbed and what they regret and what they don't regret. And there's a book about regrets of the dying. I'm not sure who wrote it, but one of the things in that is people don't regret trying things. They regret not having a go, not doing things. And so it's really good that people can allow themselves to have that shift, to move into the statesperson and to not make it about them anymore and to make it about the future for other people. So statesperson is really cool, and you can naturally stay in that until the day you die, and you will still have a life full of meaning and fulfillment, and that's perfectly awesome. However, the next stage, which you can naturally move into, is called the spirit. So we have athlete, warrior, statesperson, and spirit. Now, spirit's one of those mystical things that isn't really discussed very much when it comes to these archetypes and the 4 life cycles. And that's because it is really mysterious. So for me to try and explain it, you think about Buddha. You think about that concept of no need or no self purpose, that you're just connected with the universe. So no being. It's it's more of a woohoo. Um, it's more of a connection to the universe and realizing that you are just energy and that your energy existed before you were an egg, and that your energy existed before you were a child, that your energy existed before you were a teenager, and that your energy consisted before you were a warrior or a statesperson, and that your energy will continue on forever in the universe. It's spirit. So, like I said, it's really hard to define it, but that's the best effort that I can put into it. So this is stuff that I've been learning more about recently, and have been delving into personality types and stages of life. And I'm kind of in between the warrior and the statesperson at the moment in the shift myself, but I also can identify that I have some of that spirit in me, that I know that there is a bigger purpose and that my energy has always existed and always will exist, because you can't kill energy. And I love thinking about that deeper. This is where we bring out the wine and cheese. We're all just energy. Our energies all existed before this life. Our grandmother's energies all existed before their life. And I love that cycle as well. Like, that we're a part of our grandma one day. You were an egg in your mother's stomach. That energy was there when they were there, when they were going through that experience. So our energy is all connected. Our spirits are all connected in some way, shape or form. And religion for me has never really been defined. But I guess that's about as spiritual and as religious as I'll get. There's something before this life and there'll be something after. So that's what I think about spirit. So there we go. So there's the 4 life stages according to Carl Jung, and some extra knowledge that I've tied in there. So I hope you enjoy this little video, my first attempt at a video. So yeah, thanks for your time and thanks for watching, and I'll post some more of my learnings soon, and hopefully they'll inspire you to do some more learnings yourself. All right, thanks. Bye.